Hello and welcome to Space Engineers. As you can see, planets have finally been added. And now we're just going to do a quick jump over to my Earth-like planet station. Spin around. And it looks like it's off to our left here. So yes, this is a very exciting update. We finally got planets. They are pretty cool. I do have a few problems with how it's been going, but overall planets are pretty good. Alright, so now that we're parked by the station, I'm going to go ahead and hop out. Stand back because the air gets sucked out because there isn't two doors here for some reason. But yes, this is my station. I almost rammed the solar panels. Oops. But it's just like a nice little outpost. It's solar powered, it's got batteries, it also has oxygen, just, you know, charge up. It's just outside the gravity field of the planet. And as you can see, my ground base is down on the surface. Now, I threw together this little exploration ship. As you can see, it uses hydrogen thrusters. Now, the reason I did this is because on the surface, I think that they've actually limited the thrust of the electric original thrusters, because I had a ship covered in them that I was building, and then when I detached it from the landing gear, it just fell down and couldn't lift itself up. So pretty much hydrogen's the only thing you can use other than the new engine they've added, which is an air-breathing jet engine thing. The only problem with that is I would still need electric thrusters for when I reach space. So, because hydrogen thrusters work in both space and on the surface, I decided I should use them. Now let's just go ahead and start flying towards my base. Now this brings up one of the things I don't like about how planets have been implemented. It's about 42,000 meters where the the natural gravity starts, and you cannot use a jump drive in natural gravity or to reach an area that's inside natural gravity. So you have to fly that 42,000 meters at 104 meters per second, because that is the max speed. Now I understand that they don't want you to accidentally jump in a gravity field and get sucked in, but because your max speed is so slow, it takes like 6 or 7 minutes just to reach the ground, which would be fine if you had something to do for 6 or 7 minutes, but really you just point in a straight line and go, and you really just have to wait or find something else to do other than play the game. And that's one of the things I don't like. Other than that, the planets have been done very well, and I'm actually pretty happy. The transition is seamless, though it does take forever to transition. I like the way they did gravity, as in it fades out slowly as you go away, which is somewhat realistic. That's kind of nice. Actually, you know what would be interesting? I kind of want to try to orbit one of the planets now, because you know the acceleration. There has to be some place where traveling 104 meters per second you would travel in a perfect ring around the planet. Okay, I'm gonna have to try that, but for now this video is just about looking at the different planets and talking about how they've been implemented and the pros and cons, I guess. Alright, so we're getting about 2,000 meters. It's probably time to start decelerating. I definitely recommend practicing flying in gravity a lot, because you can fall and hit the ground really hard really easily. It takes a lot longer to decelerate because of the gravity, and even with powerful hydrogen thrusters, you can pretty quickly get yourself into trouble. Now, I found that on my ship, the fastest way to slow down is put yourself a 45-degree angle, so that you can use both my or so I can use both my braking thrusters and my downward thrusters to stop me. Oh no. I fucked up. I fucked up. I fucked up. Oh, we're going down. And that's what I meant. We just crashed. Oh, the lag. The ship is down. Oh boy. Yeah, it's dead. It killed something. Something important is missing. Oh my god. And this is why you take your own advice. Oh, I knew I should have accelerated down. Okay, well I got a little too aggressive and now my ship is totaled. Good thing I saved it. Yeah, so that's just dead now. That's not the first time I've crashed. I've crashed over in this water, which, just so you know, is hard. It's like rock. That's not a good thing. I guess I can go over to one of these ships and show you some of the new features. This is a welding / grinding ship. And these new engines, which have a white flame, there's a small and large version. What am I setting off? Oh, there's a sensor around, isn't there? Yes, but you can see they have fans. They look like jet engines, and that's what they do. They only work in atmosphere, but they are probably the most efficient way to fly in atmosphere. So if you're building a ship that never wants to go to space, this is the way to do it, covered in a crap load of these turbines. Now, like I said earlier, hydrogen thrusters are the way to go if you want to go to space, and then if you only want to be in space, the way to go is electric. So hydrogen's really turned into that perfect hybrid you need for an exploration vehicle. Okay. It's a little weak on the gyroscopes, but of course it's probably better suited to an atmospheric flight. Now you probably noticed this on the way down, but now there's a little bar across your screen when you're in natural gravity. It's supposed to be the horizon, I think, but obviously it's not on the horizon. I don't know if that's just because the planet curves so quickly or what, but another thing, if you look at the crosshair, you can see an altitude. That's actually how far I am above the ground. That's actually pretty useful for when landing or flying around. Look at that. Nice pretty clouds. These planets definitely look a lot better than I thought they were going to. Some of the early screenshots looked pretty flat, and it was just random tree scatter. But these are amazing. Like, well, okay, that biome transition there is a little bit harsh, but for the most part this terrain is sculpted very well, and it actually is sculpted somewhat. It was initially procedurally generated, but then the devs went through and carved it, and in a question and answer session, I'll actually give you a link to that because it gives you a little bit more information about Space Engineers and what the developers are doing. They said they took just inspiration from things around Earth, Mars, and I think he said an unnamed planet for the alien planet, because of course there are 3 different types of planets. So yes, this is the Earth-like planet, of course. You can see it's got biomes, trees. The Mars planet does not have any ground scatter, I don't think. It's just orange and yellow rock. But then the alien has 2 types of ground scatter that I've noticed, and they're obviously alien looking. My game's lagging a little bit here. I think that's because I'm recording. When I was flying here before, this was a lot more smooth. These planets are definitely pretty fun to fly around. Again, my only complaint is probably the speed limit, which is understandable because it's just the game engine and the physics don't work when you exceed that speed. Now, just as ideas, I'm not a game developer, obviously, but I was thinking a combination of Super Cruise, like an Elite Dangerous, run the same way that Kerbal Space Program does time acceleration. Because in Kerbal Space Program, when you time accelerate, it just shuts off physics for you, and you just go on rails faster. Of course, that's supposed to be speeding up time, but space engineers can implement something that works in natural gravity up to probably 1,000 meters, at which point it would shut off to give you a chance to not smack into the ground at really fast speeds. But it would shut off your physics. It wouldn't allow you to do anything like pistons, because that would obviously be bad at high speed, or it's already bad at 100 meters per second. And that would possibly help solve the problems that are with speed. The other option is, of course, to let someone jump drive down to about 1,000 meters above the surface. I don't know. I just think that something needs to be done to make it quicker to get to the surface. The problem with jumping, of course, is you lose that awesome transition where you just fly straight down and then you're there. But anyway, like I said, I'm not a game developer. I don't know exactly what I'm talking about. I'm just enjoying flying around this water, in quotations, that's as hard as a rock. Alright, so that's it for today. Definitely check out this update, and I'm Conhathi. Bye.